Greetings, you're watching breaking news on the Creative Society channel. For the first time in history, humanity is facing a common external enemy. That enemy is climate. Without a solution to this problem, everything else is meaningless. In the face of planetary danger, it is necessary to unite all people on the planet.
We invite you to inform people that on May 7, 2022, an important strategic event for all of humanity, the international online forum We Are People, We Want to Live, will take place on the Creative Society platform. Learn more about the event at the creativesociety.com website.
After the recent storm, North Texas continues to be affected by extreme cold. Because of large temperature fluctuations, residents of the state are seeing frost cracks on trees. The sudden drop in temperature increases the pressure inside the tree and the wood cracks. This creates a sound similar to a gunshot or explosion. Such trees are potentially dangerous.
Meanwhile, the western United States continues its worst drought in 1,200 years, even though in some areas there was heavy rainfall. In many states, the dry spell resulted in the loss of fertile soils and threatened freshwater supplies. The abnormal heat waves of the summer of 2021 also caused a number of major fires across the country. More than 3 million hectares of land burned in California alone. The topic of fires in California will be continued by the breaking news reporter from the U.S.
Hey, what's up? It's George Soundsick from California. At the same time in North America, in the state of California, there was a wildfire. The natural disaster was recorded in Orange County amid record heat and increasing drought. Hundreds of residents were evacuated. The flames destroyed several homes. We no longer have a fire season, we have a fire year, according to the Fire Authority Chief, Brian Finessi, when he commented on the situation. Although traditionally the fire season in California is usually late summer or early fall, in recent years, fires have occurred year-round.
As severe drought and fires engulfed North America, Latin American countries were plunged by floods. On the night of February 15, 2022, several cities in the departments of Atlantida and Cortez, Honduras, experienced flooding due to heavy rains. This caused landslides, destroyed roads, and damaged homes. Residents of the city of San Pedro Sula were left without electricity. More than 300 people were forced to leave their homes because of the river overflow. The floodwater level reached 1.5 meters in some places.
On February 16th, a strong earthquake with a magnitude of 6.8 occurred in southwestern Guatemala. This was followed by 3 aftershocks of magnitude over 4. The seismic event caused landslides, damage, and destruction to buildings and power outages. Unfortunately, there are fatalities. Earth tremors were also felt in El Salvador and Mexico. About other cataclysms in Latin America, see below.
Hello, I'm Roaldo Gonzalez, the breaking news reporter from the municipality of Puerto Barrios, Izabal. On February 13, 2022, the municipality of Morales in the department of Izabal, Guatemala, was struck by a tornado. Dozens of people were affected. The storm felled trees, damaged power lines and destroyed several buildings. The speed of the tornado, according to various estimates, was from 70 to 100 kilometers per hour. The atmospheric phenomenon lasted about 10 minutes, but threw local residents into disarray. Tornadoes occur mostly in temperate climates and are completely atypical for a tropical country like Guatemala. From February 7th to 12th, a series of hurricanes in parts of the states of Minas Gerais and Rio de Janeiro in Brazil caused flash flooding. As a result, more than 15,000 people were affected, and hundreds were left homeless. The municipality of Santo Antonio de Padua recorded 145.7 millimeters of rain in just 24 hours. This amount is higher than the average month's amount. And in the municipality of Volta Redonda, the level of the Paraíba do Sul River rose more than 2 meters above normal in a short period. A state of emergency was declared in several municipalities.
A few days later, residents of the state of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, faced a new bout of catastrophic flooding. On the night of February 15th, in the city of Petrópolis, more than a month's worth of rain fell in just 6 hours. This amount exceeded all forecasts for February. Floods of water swept away everything in their path: cars, buses, houses. More than 250 landslides occurred in different areas. Nearly 100 buildings were either completely destroyed or severely damaged. Unfortunately, more than 100 people did not survive the natural disaster. Mourning and a state of emergency were declared in Brazil. The topic of floods in other regions of the world will be continued by this reporter of the breaking news.
Hello, this is the breaking news reporter from Indonesia. Since February 12, 2022, Indonesia has been suffering massive flood caused by heavy rainfall. Unfortunately, casualties have been reported along with missing persons. The province of West Kalimantan has been most severely affected, with more than 17,000 people injured. Houses, schools, and public buildings have been flooded. In some areas, floodwaters were over 1 meter deep. The provinces of East Java and East Nusa Tenggara experienced devastating landslides following heavy rains, which completely destroyed several houses and damaged dozens. On February 13 to 14, a heavy downpour caused unexpected flooding in Oman. Unfortunately, a man died. During Monday, 45 mm of rainfall in the city of Bausar, Muscat province, and 55 mm in the city of Nau in the southern province of Al-Batina. Usually this amount fall in about half a year, so the streets were quickly transformed into raining river, unable to cope with the amount of water. Some residents escaped the flooding on rooftops. Dozens of people were rescued from cars flooded on roads. Several houses were also reported partially destroyed.
Picture this, your average day, and in an instant life abruptly changes into before and after. What becomes the most important thing for people whose lives are suddenly hit by the disaster? Witnesses to the December 18, 2021 flood in Malaysia will tell us more about this.
I'm May from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur.
And I am Douglas from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur as well. It was 18th December. It was a Saturday. The flood hit us during midnight around, it was starting at around 9 a.m. with a little bit of water, and around midnight, I would say 1 or 2 a.m., the water started to rise a lot.
Raining so many days non-stop, but for our area it's around 6 to 7 feet.
We were not warned, it just happened. The water didn't came slowly, it came quite fast. So we were scared, and at first we went to the second floor, but then we realized that we had no food. We spent a night upstairs at the second floor, and then the next morning when we see the condition is really, really bad, we've decided to evacuate our house. So we bring all the important documents, phones, and we wanted to escape, but we couldn't open the main entrance, the main door, because the water pressure is so heavy. And the second door that we can't find the keys because the flood, and the keys is somewhere at the bottom. And for how we escaped was that we used the back door, and we used the fridge to bang the door, crash the door, so we can escape.
Because the water is until here, I think it's until level here already. Then we swim up. Now the outside the gate, auto gate also 不能开了.
And then after that we swim out our house, and the gate also cannot open, so we have to use the smaller gate to go through. And then we swim to the outside there, and then there's motorboat that came and rescued us. There was a lot of people out there, and then a lot of police and firefighters as well, trying to see who else we can save. The firefighter only gave us one boat. They only had one boat, and in the boat you can only fit up to 5 people, and there's a lot of family around here, 60 to 70 families to rescue. Temperature was really, really cold. Whenever there's rain, we couldn't sleep because we were scared. We will also want to rush home because we want to ensure that it's safe. During on the flooding day, we did not really prepare anything. It just came suddenly. The whole first floor, around 80 to 90% damage, loss, 80 to 90% loss. We have to throw a lot of things. There were some that we can wash and reuse back, but most of it we throw away. When the water is gone, we felt a bit like crying because it's quite sad to see the whole house damaged. Be appreciative of what you have, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Actually, our country neglected on informing us and keeping an eye on the weather. So if they actually pay attention to the weather, they know that something is going to happen, then they should have informed us to move everything away and evacuate. We have been living in this house for 12 years, and this is the first time that the flood is happening. And because the rain is quite big and quite severe, this rain is different than from the usual because this rain is a lot more heavier and there's a lot of mist around us. We cannot see anything. We invite everyone to the conference on May 7th, 2022, Global Crisis. We are people, we want to live, because climate change is important and it's real.
People need to know about natural disasters in advance in order to react in time and leave the danger zone in an organized manner. But so far, the reality is much scarier, and people are not informed in time. Coming up next, an eyewitness to Tropical Storm Anna from Madagascar.
I'm Irina Seenu. I live in Madagascar, in the capital, Antananarivo. And I was a witness of the tropical storm Anna. The night, rather, that the storm hit the capital, I was on my way home from work, and the rain had already started pretty early, but it started raining very hard, and I noticed that the water was going up very fast. So, already when I was walking to my car, the water would reach almost up to my knees. I was completely wet, and my car was basically from the drive from my office all the way home. My car was almost all the way underwater. I was probably stuck outside in the rain because the roads were really full of water and there was a lot of mud. So there were many cars who were actually just stuck inside the water. The rain kind of calmed down, but it still did continue raining, which caused a lot of landslides all over the city. and it was also during the day. So there was this one landslide that happened over a parking lot. Some cars were affected, and I think that day about 10 people died. I didn't really go out as much because of my fear of landslides and everything. But my husband, who's in it, spoke to me about the thousands of people who were left homeless, how they were brought to temporary housings, which were the gymnasiums. And well, even up till now, 3 weeks after the storm, still a lot of people have been left homeless. And there's one road in particular that was used very often by the people of the city that was, well, completely cut off. And well, we were very scared about the tropical cyclone that passed this weekend, Batsirai. It affected Mauritius and La Réunion. Luckily, the capital wasn't affected. However, unfortunately, the coast, I would say, was completely affected by the cyclone. Many more people have been left homeless. So right now, a lot of people have been asking to provide anything that they could. Food, clothing, anything housing-wise. Strong rains is something that's, well, we're kind of used to it here in Madagascar. We are a tropical island. We are used to rains, especially at this moment of the year. I personally wasn't informed. There would be flooding issues for a very long time, and a lot of people weren't ready for that. Malagasy people, when we see someone in struggle, we straight away help. There was 35,000 people who were left homeless, and even up till now, still some people don't have homes. So they had a very difficult time finding temporary shelters there. Where I live, I have a couple neighbors who took in some people that they knew who lost their homes and everything that they had. There have been some big storms and cyclones, but this is the first one in a while. I personally think that really countries should inform their population of certain things like that. However, in countries like Madagascar, there are a lot of people who still don't have access to phones, internet, stuff like that. So here in Madagascar in particular, we need to find a way to be able to inform those in rural areas and of changes like that, because those are the people who are the most affected by climate change like that. And we need to find a way to be able to inform them in a rapid way so that they can prepare themselves or even evacuate. My message to people who think that climate change won't affect them would be that climate change affects every single human being on Earth. Anything that could happen to your neighbor, to people that you know, could also happen to you, because it has already happened to a lot of people. Don't think that you're safe from any disaster, or that you're always going to be safe from anything that could happen in terms of Mother Nature. It's important to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to tell yourself that if I was in this situation, I would want some help. So always have in your mind the heart to help people, and if you can, just do it.
If you have witnessed a climate anomaly, send your video footage to climate@creativesociety.com.
On February 17th, powerful storms synchronously covered several countries in Europe. Hurricane Elenia struck northern Germany. Fallen trees left tens of thousands of homes without electricity. At least 2 people have died. School classes were cancelled and train service was partially suspended. A state of emergency was declared in Berlin.
On the same day in Great Britain, a powerful storm, Dudley, wreaked havoc on city streets. Hurricane wind with gusts over 140 kilometers per hour tore down trees and smashed everything in its path. Following Dudley, another storm raged across the country, Eunice, which forecasters call one of the most powerful storms in decades.
Residents of Poland also suffered from the storm Dudley. According to eyewitnesses, the disaster took people by surprise. Suddenly, a powerful wind came, followed by a wall of rain and a peal of thunder. Learn more from the Polish breaking news reporter.
Hello, this is breaking news reporter from Poland. On February 16th and 17th, another winter storm passed through Poland. The third level of danger have been declared. On the night of 17th, a strong storm passed through the Lubutz region. The strength reached 110 km per hour. Wind gusts caused a lot of damage. Trees were knocked down on the roads, buildings were damaged, and many people were left without electricity. Unfortunately, a tree fell on the car. The driver died on spot. The Institute of Meteorology and Water Management noted that the winter storm in Poland are an extremely rare meteorological phenomenon. However, the beginning of 2022 showed how unpredictable the weather is. The dynamic flow of Beric system, large pressure drops, and high air instability in Europe led to the fact the past month, although warmer than the long-term norm, brought a number of dangerous hydrological and meteorological phenomena.
On February 7 to 8, a bomb cyclone struck the southern coast of Iceland, bringing hurricane-force winds and record-breaking waves. According to the Road and Coastal Administration of Iceland, 4 waves over 30 meters high were recorded during the storm.
One of them was so high that after a reading of 40 meters, the gauge device broke down. It was one of the highest waves in the country recorded in the last 32 years. Learn more on the cataclysmic events in Italy and Georgia from the Georgian Breaking News reporter.
This is a breaking news reporter from Georgia. On February 13, 2022, a powerful earthquake of 6.2 magnitude shook Georgia. The epicenter was near the village of Sameba on the Javaheti Plateau. Origin of the seismic event was located at a depth of about 10 kilometers. Citizens in Tbilisi also felt powerful tremors. There were no reports of casualties and destruction, but there were power cuts during the earthquake. We would like to note that the village of Sameba has recently become a seismic active zone. Also, a 5.4 magnitude earthquake occurred in Armenia. Buildings in the cities of Gyumri and Bavra were damaged. Earlier, on February 10, on the island of Sicily, Italy, the highest and most active volcano in Europe, Etna, erupted. It threw out ash to a height of about 10 kilometers. Also, tremors were recorded at a depth of 3 kilometers during the eruption. We are not being warned that these earthquakes may be coming. No seismological warnings from government agencies. The only way out is to create a creative society.
The cause of climate change is astronomical cyclicity. Influence from space on planet's core leads to its destabilization, which in turn leads to widespread natural disasters, including volcanic activity.
According to the website Volcano Discovery, February 12, in just a day was recorded synchronization of 9 volcanoes throughout the Pacific Ring of Fire: Japan, Indonesia, Guatemala, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, and Vanuatu.
In each region that becomes life-threatening, there are people. They have nowhere to go to, no one to hope for, and no one to expect help from. The consumerist format of society condemns almost every person on the planet to a sad fate.
Oh, it's quite obvious that this world has to be changed, because what impressed me, let's say from the latest news, is that the International Human Trafficking Foundation has voiced the main problem, which will aggravate due to climate change, that climate refugees become victims of exploitation and human trafficking, and that most likely, they say, they won't agree on common, so to say, rules in Glasgow that will allow...
Of course they won't agree. And even if they agree, who will comply with those rules? After all, it's economically justified and profitable, because it is cheap labor. Let's be honest.
Yes.
And we, society, we humanity, we tolerate this. Is that normal?
Once you said that sobering up of people would be a trend for the coming years.
It's taking place now, isn't it? Look how much truth is revealed.
Yes, it's time for the truth, really.
It's time for the truth, indeed. People start telling the truth from all the corners, calling things by their proper names. Calling corruption corruption, pointing out where and what takes place, about the entire consumerist order, excuse me, all its shenanigans, and all its lies are already in plain sight and everyone is already talking about this. Aren't politicians talking about it? Moreover, let's say, the most serious politicians, the most authoritative ones, already call things by their proper names. Don't they?
Yes, they admit that we are steadily approaching the edge of an abyss and that it is time to sound the alarm.
Sure, and this relates not only to climate, it relates to our consumerism and our dehumanization in general. After all, we have already gone far over the edge.
Our world is changing before our eyes, and what the future will look like depends on our actions today.
Right now, the real causes of climate change are not known to all because of the collaborators, and people are dying because of the lack of timely information.
In the consumerist format of society, based on money and power, everyone's life is in danger.
Life is a gift from heaven. The consumerist format of society is taking away our lives and our future. If anyone hasn't figured it out yet, the consumerist format is a feast of darkness and evil, that the circle of darkness is shrinking. Evil is getting closer to every one of us. It is the necrosis of humanness. It is caused by our indifference and inaction.
You can't remain indifferent now because it's just deadly dangerous, and the media can now be heard to say that climate change is only about increasing the temperature of the atmosphere, but that's far from it. The planet is now experiencing a major geodynamic realignment, increased seismic volcanic activity, increased geothermal heat, increased degassing and many other facts. Unfortunately, science nowadays does not consider all this aspect comprehensively. This is a fatal mistake.
So what exactly can anyone do? First of all, to accept the truth as it is, get into it and figure out into it for yourselves. Just try to understand when you are just sit on the couch and are not interested in the most important things. The information comes to you from different sources, fragmented and distorted, and inside of you there's a plague by doubts. But when you start to get into it yourself and you see the real picture and the holistic situation, and thanks to such actions of indifferent people all over the planet, this conference was born, and it will allow you to save a lot of time to understand what's really happening with climate and with our planet.
When we bring all these actors around the table, I believe that we will have a sensible, architecture and a sensible, ideas about how to go about. Of course, we may not find all the solution because some problems will arise and we will have to deal with them at the time. But so long as the will is to be together, to go over this and to change some of our behaviors on a global scale, that could really, really improve our ability to take on what's coming at us, because it is coming at us and it's something that we really need to take seriously.
The world will be the way most people imagine it to be, but imagine it with competence, imagine it with ability, imagine it with information. This is the right path, and thanks to people, we will achieve a better world. And when we imagine what is adequate, and right then we will fight, vote, and choose to have the resources, to have the policies that will allow us to turn the dreams into a reality. I fully agree with that approach and do not believe in any other.
Climate disasters are gaining momentum, but we are people and we want to live. We must unite in one common idea, building the creative society. It is the only way out of this situation.
Now, people all over the world are uniting for the realization of the creative society. This will allow us to survive and create a happy future for everyone. Join the realization of the creative society. More at creativesociety.com.
Thank you for being with us today and see you soon on the Creative Society channel.